Yes, Ramake. I think let's get right into it and start to unpack this issue of unstable local governments. Ramake, we as residents of respective metros in Gauteng, but of course is an issue that affect the entire country.
Yeah.
But of course we are in Gauteng and specifically in Tshwane. What is the solution with these unstable local governments?
Yeah.
Where are we heading to?
Yeah, I think before we go to the solution, let's look into the fault lines.
Yeah.
What could be causes of this instability or crisis, as you've alluded in your intro, probably crisis of leadership. You look at the kind of personalities that are leading political parties.
Yes.
Or whether are these action movements, are these protest movements, are these political parties. The history of this country was shaped through a serious, intensive, active political participation of citizens. You know, the civil society has been very strong and very active even during UDF times.
Yeah.
And then you have also older political parties like your PAC, AZAPO, the African National Congress as the mother.
Yeah.
So the issue is, who are our new role players? And then what is their role?
Yeah.
What kind of politics are they coming with? If you quickly look at those that came from the ANC, we speak about PAC itself, the 1957 to 59 split.
Yeah.
You look at the kind of leaders, the kind of political party that emerged from that. For me, I would argue that that was one of the most powerful alternative of politics of the ANC to the left, because they were not charterist. They were rejecting Freedom Charter and all its approaches. Then you had the lull during 1970s to the 80s. That ushered 1990 a new dawn of democracy.
Yeah.
But before this new dawn, in that intervening period, you had the lull that was occupied by the BCM, the Black Consciousness Movement.
Yeah.
Still there, politics were done genuinely by people that we would call activists, not cadres in a true sense of the MK word, Apla word, but activists, people who do mass action type of politics.
Yeah.
Then you now had AZAPO born from that, and many other BC formations. Then straight we jump into the 1990s era, where the UDF now came into the play, which you could clearly see that UDF was ushering politics into government.
Yeah.
I think the role of the UDF was to usher politicians and politics now into governance. Then the whole thing started to change. Now you have new role players, new way of doing politics. You have now protest movements that are born today. In the next 2 years, they are no longer there. They come into government. They are part of local government. In a short space of time, they make a deal with another party. There is floor crossing. There are shifts. So coalitions, basically, were born under that environment, an environment whereby there is no clear political program.
Yeah.
It is just an issue-based type of intervention.
Yeah.
So hence we have BOSA, which came from the DA. BOSA is not different from the DA. Action SA is not different from the DA. Actually, they are children from the same mother. But these kids, they are not really different from the mother.
How so?
Because ideologically, they are just like the DA. They are amorphous. They do not have an ideological position. When you talk of political parties, probably you can speak about EFF. EFF, I think, is a combination of the two. It wants to take the posture of a protest movement. Hence, they are on calling for shutdowns. They like to do this theater inside Parliament, singing, chanting, collapsing structures, doing this and that. They are more on your street type of activism, but they do have 7 pillars, which speaks a lot to the ideological framework of our politics, from the ANC, PAC, AZAPO, combining actually all of them. You will see there is freedom charter somewhere there in those 7 pillars. You will see that there is nationalization struggle in those 7 pillars. You will see that there is economic emancipation in those 7 pillars. So you will see that there is a pro-poor approach to policy making in the 7 pillars. So it shows you that EFF is is of the older liberation movement. But as to whether EFF will live, to take the cudgels of power and finally emerge as a contester of power, it's a big question. Why? Because we see EFF now gravitating towards ANC. When we talk, we cannot talk about failing coalitions or the state of coalition governments without mentioning EFF and its approach gravitating towards ANC. It looks like ANC has a very strong charm offensive that attracts EFF leaders into making some coalitions, some unpronounced alliances, some unpronounced coalitions, or working together. I heard that there are
some one night stands.
There are some moves. There is this bedroom politics between these two parties. But it's not only EFF. Remember, Steenhuisen once said the only way we can work with the ANC is when Ramaphosa remains the president. So you can see that there is this charm offensive. Now the big question is, if opposition parties, the 2 major opposition parties who are supposed to unseat ruling party, are charmed into the offensive of gravitating even towards working with the ruling party, then you can see that the future of coalitions, it's not there at all. That's one. Secondly, the manner in which these coalitions, minority coalitions, multi-party coalitions, we can call them, I heard many names being used, but those coalitions up to so far, they have never delivered. You have Action SA and DA no longer in good terms at all. Based on what happened in Johannesburg recently and Tshwane. And Ekurhuleni as well. You hear that the speaker even tendered his resignation already.
And the chief
whip. So which means that the coalition politics, no matter how much people are trying to sell this idea to us, in South Africa, it's just not working. Others are saying no, it is in the mainstream, it's still coming, it's building up. It reminds me of the national health insurance debate. It reminds me also of the issue of what is this 2060 plan, and NDP plan, actually 2030 plan. It has not started to roll, But it's simply because you must check how many policies are you trying to come up with, and succession and failure. Are they monitoring and evaluation? So we bring a lot of stuff on top of other stuff. So maybe we are overrun by events.
Maybe before we get lost into the cracks, you are emphatic. We have been very emphatic on the issue that the coalitions. It would seem that the future of coalitions is very
bleak.
It's very bleak. But yet you have a lot of politicians, particularly in the opposition parties, who are saying that come 2024, the national government will be. There's no way that we are going to have any party that is going to get 50+1.
South Africa, honestly, there were some advices. Remember, the Frans Labert was one of them. I mean, in terms of the electoral, properly suitable electoral system. During those times of the 1990s, you did have a problem of some Afrikaner right-wingers who threatened that they wanted to have their own Volksstaat.
Yeah.
So it is understandable. You also had the Zulu people who were led by Inkatha, Freedom Party,
Yes.
that wanted to also do something that is called secession in political language.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they wanted to secede, probably to have a own Volksstaat in the KwaZulu-Natal.
Yeah.
You know, so it was too much risky for the national nation building project of Nelson Mandela. They wanted the unitary South Africa, a one South African state. Hence the issue of separation and a Bantustan was not entertained, you know. But if you look at now, things have changed.
Yes.
Multi-party democracy, multi-party politics are not assisting us, and they have given birth to coalition debate. The coalition sentiment was begotten by multi-partyism. They think that the more parties you have inside parliament, the more accountable government becomes.
Yeah.
The more government will be able to deliver. But that has not been our experience. In the past 10, 15 years, you could see that multi-partyism has not assisted South Africa. I'm not arguing for the debate of a one-party state, whereby there is only one party and there is no any other party. No, I do believe that there should be, we should maintain the issue of not having a one-party state.
Yeah. But
we must limit smaller parties that are irrelevant.
Yeah.
Now you have smaller parties that want to dictate.
But I mean, the Van Zyl recommendations actually takes us to that direction of one party state, because in one of his recommendations he says that the winner must take all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hence,
And so as to avoid this, you have a party with two seats, one seat, wanting to cause havoc.
there's another submission in support of Van Zyl, yet slightly different, but almost the same, which I like. The submission speaks about a combination of a mixed system.
Yeah.
You have that system that says 50 plus 1 majority should form government, yet others must become opposition.
Yeah.
But 50 plus 1 majority holder must be allowed to form government,
Yeah.
which is the one I agree with, and it's the one that can be workable in South Africa.
Yeah.
In South Africa now, it will be difficult for any party to master anything beyond 52%. Anything beyond 52%.
But why is that?
Even 51% could be a pipe dream for many parties. You see, so but it is because people are having no more trust in politicians and political parties. Issues of corruption, mismanagement of funds, lack of accountability, and an unrepresentative government structure.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see, why is it unrepresentative? Indirect democracy is unrepresentative because we elect someone after 5 years. That's the only time that person will tell us of his or her failures. Normally, they don't even have that conversation with us. We have seen this person when we elect them. After that, they disappear. There was a rule to say that councillors should stay where they have been elected. But
Yes.
no, it's not followed up. People go to suburbs. They leave that community that has elected them into office. So there are many things. There is apathy as well. There is also a poor service delivery record, mismanagement of funds across municipalities.
Yeah.
The AG 2021 to 2022 report is been scathing on all municipalities throughout the country.
Yes.
So across. So those factors contribute to the issue of apathy, to the issue of people lacking trust in political leaders or political organization. But I will not tell you that we have reached a death of politics in South Africa. We have not. But we must simply change. We must adapt to another system. If you ask me, I would go for a more representative type of democracy, the highest state of democracy, polyarchy, because I believe that under polyarchy, leaders are directly elected. They are directly representing us through constituency, like your American Congress type
but
of.
what is polyarchy?
It's a system where leaders are elected directly from the constituency. They represent a particular constituency.
Okay.
And then we call it a highest form of democracy because directly, this leader, unlike in our parliamentary system where we have a constituency office, you see, in different areas. But this constituency office, you can see for yourself
But
how many people visit it, how many people go. And normally it's a constituency office of a political party. But once you are in government, you are elected by the people. You must be held accountable directly by the people, not by the party.
Yeah.
So party system, if it's not refined to polyarchy, then it becomes an unrepresentative type of democracy.
Well, a counter argument to that concept of polyarchy is this one of political killings.
Yeah.
That you have a lot of killings, because a certain faction don't want to be led by Mpho Maake. Therefore, the only effective way to get him out of the way is to kill him. Now, what more than if people will be elected directly?
Yeah, I suspect you are even referring to the current killing of councillors.
Yes.
But it's because of our councillors in South Africa are not really as independent and as elected by the people directly in a true sense of the word. Most councillors come from political parties.
Yes.
So you seldom have a community-based leader, a community councillor who comes from no political party. This person is simply a councillor who was elected in what so and so, and community of that what so and so are almost not politically inclined to a political party, but to this person. But the truth of the matter is, if we mix this system from this one of directly elected councillors, even in the National Assembly, if you can have at least 50% of directly elected people through provincial votes, you have directly elected individuals, as you have parties elected. You can also have a directly elected president and also a directly elected MP or NCOPs. Just try to mixing this system so that it can fluidly work together, where you have directly elected people who will go back and report to their constituencies. But I don't think that people are killed clearly because of system, but it is because of other things like tenders, deals that have gone wrong, mandates that have gone wrong. But the fact of the matter is, no system is perfect. You asked a very good question. Why polyarchy? How does it differ? Polyarchy is not a panacea. It's not going to resolve South Africa's problems, but it can at least take our democracy to another level, to a higher level. Which level? A level where we move from a too strong party-based electoral system, but into a more mixed a constituency and party-based electoral system. Why we are trying to hold the leaders accountable. You have so much funds that have been public funds that have been abused throughout this term, but no one is arrested, no one is held accountable. So these leaders, they cannot hold themselves accountable. You go to parliament, you find members of the same parties that are accused of mismanaging public funds. They will never hold themselves accountable. That is why you have to have directly elected leaders through a system like polyarchy that will force leaders to come and do referendums, to come and do public debates. There is this thing in the local government. It's called this meeting of local councillor and his ward committee. Ward committee is not applied properly. Most wards do not have a ward committee. Even where I stay, I don't know when was a meeting of a ward committee called.
Well, remember that in 2016 when the DA took over administration, they had actually, to put simply, let's say they did away with the ward committees. But I'm told that it is only now that they will be starting with that process of re-establishing ward committees. Unfortunately, due to time, we need to move to our next discussion. But I suspect that we'll have to come back at some point and spend the entire hour on this issue of polyarchy. The issue of Palatse, Dr. Palatse, wanting to lead the Democratic Alliance. Many have said that actually campaign is destined for failure. They have mentioned the issue of timing, that she came late, started her debate quite late, and some have went as far as questioning her experience as well and others have said that actually she's quite ambitious. That's very ambitious of her to want to be the leader of the DA. But let's clarify this. You have the federal chair, that is Madam Helen Zille. Then you have the DA leader, that is
Steenhuisen.
Yeah, Steenhuisen. John Steenhuisen. So which, in this case, which position is Dr. Palatse gunning for?
Probably this confusion is also stems also from her own utterances. I listened to an interview where she was asked about this big new move. And in her pronouncement, she mentions the two. She says that the DA needs a leader who's in tune, a leader who is credible, a leader who understands issues, a leader who has the ear on the ground, a leader who's also who can obtain trust from the masses, which means attacking the current leader, who seem not to have a rapport, especially with black voters, Then she again spoke about the role of the federal leadership. So you see, even the top structure of DA, because the interviewer asked the interviewee the relationship between her and the party leader and the relationship between her and federal leadership in relation to why was she removed, was she not defended, why it seems like the party did not defend her mayorship, then you could see, you could tell from that she almost led this confusion going on. But what is clear is that she wants to run for a different role than that one of mayor. That is the party leader. So we are not sure whether she'll be challenging Steenhuisen position or Zille's position. But I think the one that is coming very soon in April is the party leader. It's not the federal chair leader. So, but if you ask me in terms of qualifications, look, in South Africa we have reached a certain state of our democracy where everybody can become a leader. You look at Action SA. Herman Mashaba is a businessman. Today he's one of the people
he's a president
thought to be a president, a presidential candidate. I'm not saying Matamela is not a business person, but we all know the track record from unions, ANC, the BCM, now you have also Musi Maimane from DA. He just tabula rasa from nowhere with a master's degrees. Then he became the leader of opposition in parliament. Then you had the Lindiwe Mazibuku, you know, well-spoken young black African woman. You know, we saw that she would be expected to take the likes of Gelehle Gisa to task inside parliament. Then you ask yourself, this jamboree of leaders who just parachute and they think they can run the country. We are in energy crisis. It does not take a Johnny come late. Excuse my language. It does not take a person who feels that they can be a leader. South Africa is a highly complex society. Our government is a very, very serious government, taken serious internationally. Now you cannot have Mickey Mouse, you know, type of leaders who think that they can just be a president of South Africa. Hence, some of us were very worried when you hear the president being insulted, when you see some of the behavior of certain people inside parliament, when you hear some unparliamentary language from certain people, you know, when you hear leaders or see leaders behaving in an unbecoming way, totally not only unparliamentarian, but also in a manner that is not befitting a cabinet member, you know. So the point I'm trying to make is that the bar is too low, Mr. Modise. We have now taken the bar too low. The bar that was raised by Anthony Lembedes, you know, the 1947 generation, you know, your Steve Biko's after that, your Prof. Sobukwe, you know, we were really in sync. We were like the Thomas Sankara generation.
Well, Johnny Mukhala says there's actually no bar. It's just a free for all. He's
right. I do concur. Everyone can be a leader. I don't know, Mr. Modise. I once saw a newspaper front page from, I think it's the Daily, from the UK. It showed from Duduzane Zuma, former Minister of Health, Lindiwe Sisulu. It showed many people. It showed Cyril Ramaphosa as well. It showed many people, and the headline was, everybody wants to be president in South Africa. You know, we were the laughing stock of the world because the bar is simply not there. I will no longer say it's too low.
It's been removed.
It's been removed. So you cannot. I'm not saying that young people cannot be leaders. I'm not saying that women cannot be leaders. I'm not saying that people should be restricted from wanting to become president. But you mentioned something on the Mpho Maake issue, and I would like to use her own leadership tenure as an example. Look what happened in Joburg. Joburg, others are saying it's a 70 billion plus. Rich.
To be exact, 72.
Metro.
70 per annum.
Per annum. Now, what type of a person do you need to lead that kind of a establishment? The marriage between EFF and the DA in 2016. What happened when Herman Mashaba was there? You know, what happened? So all I'm trying to say is we must have credible leaders whom we are able to hold accountable, who really understand that when there is energy crisis in Eskom, what must be done? Clearly our leaders are clueless, but it's because not only the lack of political knowledge or political leadership, it's lack of skills, it's also lack of ethics. You said something about autopilot. You can ask yourself, is this country on autopilot? Or is this a Mendy sinking? Is this a Titanic sinking? Or we simply really have to go the route of President Ramaphosa calling for reconfiguration of government, you know? So you ask yourself also, what is that? How many times have we been hearing there's a new dawn, we want to change, we must change this, we must do this and this and that. So for me, the issue of absence of leadership is a very serious one. It brings me to that point of the ineffectual or effectiveness of action type protest leadership.
The role of protest.
The role of protest leadership.
Do we still do those kind of, you remember around your 80s and your early 90s, would embark on this protest politics and would say no, asikweli.
Yeah.
Meaning that
in the consumer boycotts.
Consumer boycotts, so that if you are caught trying to get grocery at the you
will be dealt with.
Yeah, you'll be dealt with. Yeah. Whatever you have bought, you consume it right there, at that particular moment, and that was geared to take us towards a particular direction, and that direction was 27 April 1994.
Yeah.
And prior 1994, that protest politics, it
was relevant at that time. Yeah.
But now you are still having the likes of the EFF who still believe that still need to embark on those kind of protest politics. Yeah, protest action. Is it still relevant today? Do you think, like, for example, this March, national shutdown on the 20th of March, which the objective is that the president must resign? Will it yield the desired results, or is this just to another, to keep one's political party in the news?
Others are calling them political gymnastics, you know.
Yeah.
Others are saying, no, people are just trying to draw attention. People are just trying to make themselves popular for 2024. People are trying to remain there in the public eye. They want to be seen as doing something, whereas they are really not doing anything. Stand Up SA also had a march today for that issue of NESA increasing tariff to something like 18%. And then BOSA as well, Musimaimani's party, and that one, Rivonia Circle. There are many small parties or movements that are trying to campaign for 2024. And then I think that, yes, probably the moves can assist them to get 1 or 2 seats. But you can look at what the ATM was trying to achieve with 2 seats. You have the issue of Section 89 panel that wanted to remove President Ramaphosa using parliamentary vote, process. But moves like shutdowns are just, they can only go that far. Where you do, it's not the first time there's been a shutdown. Labor movement have been doing a lot of shutdowns. Actually there are 3 to 4 strikes every year. And one can even ask whether is this their program? If we can have 2 national shutdowns, 3 strikes, then people can see that our union is strong, and therefore they can affiliate. We are still relevant. But South Africa does not need that. South Africa needs a true, proper revolution. South Africa has been asking for an alternative to what has been happening now.
What is a true, proper revolution?
No, it's moving from a state of liberalism, neoliberal democracy. That's why I called for something like polyarchy. Neoliberal democracy. It's a type of is a Western type of a democracy where you are using the British Westminster system of parliament. You want to hold the elite accountable by them attending that structure that is called parliament. You cannot hold them accountable when you are not even there. The elite will not be held accountable. They refuse to be held accountable because the power that they have right now, they are the ones that enjoy the means of production, after capitalist class. So you needed a pro-left, a pro-poor type of of action. Now EFF is trapped. It is in two bodies. It poses as a leftist party that is pro-poor. Yet look at the type of leaders that the EFF has. Look at the type of association that the EFF leaders have with what type of people in the society. They want to be friends of billionaires. They want to befriend capital. Yet in their rhetoric, they tell you that no, they are against white monopoly capital. But they have befriended capital. They are friends of billionaires, and they want to see themselves there. And when there are tenders, they want to be there. So you can see that the EFF has this other side that is unpalatable to those that understand Marxist and nationalization or a national liberation politics.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it is seen as a true fighter of the people, a true people's party. They wear overalls, but underneath those overalls there is Gucci. There is Dolce and Gabbana. And then the leader will justify saying, no, ours is not the type of revolution that says our leaders must be poor, our leaders must not be wear tattered clothes. But they wear those two pieces. Those workers. For what? Why don't they wear those Gucci's?
Now,
so the point I was trying to make was to say that our struggle has lost direction. Our revolution has lost direction. The ANC might have pushed up to this far. Right now, the ANC cannot be seen as a liberation movement anymore. It is a party in government. And until the ANC accepts that we are now a party in government, where the National Party was, is us.
Well, it looks like the new Secretary General is beginning to breathe life, fresh air into towards that direction, to say that the center must hold. The ANC must begin to realize that in fact it is no longer on that other side. It is this side. But enough on that one. Now you mentioned earlier on. You mentioned this thing of ESCOM. That it does not need this kind of crisis does not need the journey.
Chance.
But now, what does it say to us? This crisis, what does it say what does it say about us as a nation, as South Africans? You remember that this issue of ESCOM, it was flagged, I think, by ESCOM in 98. Or so, 98.
So in Mbekis's second term.
In Mbekis's second term, where they wanted to start building your power stations and so on, and they were told no, don't worry about that. But what is important. The point that I want to, or my question is, what does it say about ourselves as a country? Because it did not start now. It is not as if people did not know about it and did not have a foresight as to to what kind of catastrophe it will lead. I think all those things were the leadership was cautioned about, but for some strange reasons only known to them, no action was taken until we are in this crisis. Where now there's a talk of implementing a state of national disaster on energy. So what does it say, this crisis of ESCOM, what does it say about us as a
unpreparedness, and then also moving from our real goal, taking our eyes from the ball. That's why I spoke about, probably in a short word, a new phase of our struggle. The ANC ushered in a democracy. There is no doubt about that. With its partners, the alliance partners, and many others, the PACs and the Azapos and everyone else, even the exiles, people that were here, not only exiles, not only Robben Islanders. But I must say, collectively, we ushered it in a democratic South Africa. Yes, there was a role that was played by international governments. There was a role that was played by international business for their own interest, of course. But no one can ignore the fact that that phase of our struggle has passed. We now entered a second phase where we were supposed to now either nationalize, either bring economic freedom. We are stuck there. We are not able to do that. But why? Because our leaders started to look onto themselves. They started to see tenders as a way of making money. They started to see government as a way of getting rich. You know, they started to see power that they have in the state apparatus as seriously desirable and something you can hold on to and not let go. And that is why service delivery, and that is why issues of land reform, that is why issues of economy played no role. You know, they were never attended to, because people wanted to make money, people wanted to be wealthy. President Mbeki, the criticism I have for him, the project BEE, I put it on his lap. The project BEE, one might say, no, it just went wrong. For me, you never had to create a few black elite, but you had to make sure that there is access to resources for everyone. Should the government focus on better life for all, not BEE, because BEE clearly produced a few black elites, and now look at inequality, look at the squalor that we still live in, look at our shacks increasing daily, look at shanty townships, you know, look at the rate of unemployment, young people discouraged, poor quality of education. Imagine if students have to pass with 30%, Mr. Modise. How competitive are we throughout the world? Where will our students go with 30% type of a pass, you know? Which university? You know?
Well, that is a subject for of discussion for another day. That one of education.
No, our education clearly, Mr. Modise, through your permission, our education clearly cannot produce people that are required even in our own market in South Africa. And that is why there is high rate of unemployment. It's because the skills that our poor education produce are not required even in the market. We don't have there is that disjunction. There is that mismatch. Otherwise, if the education was good, we could have students that have graduated and established their own businesses, students that have graduated that would be establishing their own companies. So all our students, we want to be employed by the municipality, provincial government and national government, and we are not employable after all, you know. And then the people that have occupied civil service are people with no skills, people with no qualifications. They would rather falsify. So it's a serious mismatch. It's a serious area. You can't separate education from labor or economy.
Under the 2 minutes that we have, briefly, let's reflect on the issue of cabinet, eminent cabinet reshuffle. You know, there's a story around the deputy president, D.D. Mabuza, whether he resigned. Is he
coming or going?
Coming or going? Is he still in cabinet? But all that we know that he missed cabinet. ANC Lekgotla. Today he missed the cabinet Lekgotla again. He was not there also on the January 8th. Ne? I think also on the January 8th he was missing in action. At least we know that that cabinet reshuffle is going to take place. Sikhe Zigalala has been asked to resign his role, his seat there at KZN as the Copter.
Mervyn Dex has resigned.
Mervyn Dex has resigned, and So who do you think that Paul Mashatile will be the deputy president of the country, and who else is likely to?
Let me start at the tourism.
It's tourism minister, and
there is a 1 billion
and Nkosazana Zuma. Are they coming back?
Yes, there is a 1 billion issue that the media we are running with today. Of tourism, South Africa. This sponsorship they want to give to Tottenham Space. I hear that the minister, the Lindiwe Sisulu, is distancing herself from that memorandum of agreement.
No, but I listened to well, briefly, just I did not have much time. But I think is it the DG there in the department?
CEO, I think.
CEO who was making of tourism.
Yeah.
Was making that
I
presentation.
think it's Themba Khumalo.
Yeah. Well, I thought he made sense when he said, "Look, they are buying a media space, and a simple way of doing that is that that when that club plays,
you are also there.
You have this X amount of eyes.
Yeah, you are also there. Maybe your logo is there. Maybe something is there.
Your logo is there.
Yeah.
And well, I thought he made some sense. I don't know what Sis Lindiwe is so afraid of, because after listening to the CEO, I thought, okay, though it did not in detail, but maybe you can.
Yeah, the minister knows that her position is really, her name is under fire.
Yeah.
Actually, her name is under fire.
About to be baptized.
Yes, with fire. So that's why she will tread carefully, and she will not support. She's not vocal as she was, if you can see. You can check that before national conference. She was very, very vocal. She would so unfortunately for her, I think she's one of the ministers that will not come back. Yeah, also this issue is going to be used totally against her. That no, she was not able to rein that CEO in. For her to distance herself is not enough. Where is she? Because also some of the media reports are that she said she still has to be briefed. You see, so it's this thing of what kind of leadership are you giving there? But also Kokda minister. She has, the RETs are now on a back foot. If not on the ground. If not on the ground, they are totally defeated for now. So it's very clear that both Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma,
they're totally crushed.
Yeah, and Lindiwe Sisulu, they don't seem to. For me, I don't think they will really come back. Also, when he speaks about reconfiguring government, also part of it is cabinet reshuffle. To answer this issue of the next deputy president, I do not want to tie myself. I don't think that it's an easy decision for him to make even right now. Because remember, Paul Mashatile is not supportive of the New Dawn. Paul Mashatile is not he's not easy to work with than Didi Mabuza. Didi Mabuza seems to be the cat that is lying down, enjoying milk. So he's more to work with. It's nicer for Ramaphosa.
But if
the resignation
is to go with,
then there is no any other way. Didi Mabuza will be made to leave. Probably he can be invited into another portfolio, maybe in the presidency. Maybe in the presidency.
But that would be demotion.
Yeah, but then this one of deputy president, he's likely to lose it. All indications are that he's likely to lose it because of tradition as well.
But remember,
national deputy president of the ANC.
I mean, he'll be losing only the status, but
But he does not have any hold to the position anymore because he's no longer. Remember, he did not stand. And I take cue from that. I think he was also advised, you are going to be clobbered. Don't embarrass yourself. You are going to be clobbered yet.
Where do you see Pule? Where do you see Pule Mabe?
I think the mistake of the...
Do you think he'll make it into the cabinet?
I'm not sure, but what I think is that he made certain mistakes that led to him flushed out. I think there were some pronouncements that he made, and those that were in the Ramaphosa slate did not like. And for that reason, he was flushed out. But I think there was a plan to work with Pule. Remember also there is this thing of him speaking with other people that he was not supposed to talk to. Mzwandile Masina, I think there's somewhere him and Pule.
Oh, you mean for that position of Treasurer General.
Yeah, because once you go to a conference and you are on a slate of a particular leader, never make a mistake. Never entertain another slate because that will be viewed as a betrayal, and you'll be removed without even a question.
Yeah,
Remember Chauke?
Yeah.
Chauke lambasted Derek Aneko. Said no when he bought into that thing of that frenzy of saying no, some branches from Limpopo, actually not even branches, Limpopo province, Gauteng province are no longer going with CR, you know. So yeah, it is because of that person who was the leader of the slate of Ramaphosa, the chief negotiator, referring to Derek Aneko.
Yeah.
Ramaphosa have himself to blame. How can you put such a person?
Yeah.
And that made him lose.
Well, on that note, Ramake, let's end it there. And thanks very much for joining us for this informative discussion. And trust that we meet again. Tomorrow we are not here. We are coming back on Monday. Yeah. So till then, God bless.
God bless.